Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. It is the 12th of September and it is FlossTube number 6, so welcome along. I just want to say thank you to everybody who is a returning viewer, and if you're new to my channel then welcome along, you're very, very welcome here. I've had lots and lots of new subscribers recently, so I just wanted to say that I am super grateful for everybody who chooses to subscribe to my channel, and that if you don't subscribe then I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and also the little bell, and then you'll be notified of when I make a new video, which is usually a Sunday morning for the Sunday morning briefing. But yesterday I posted another video which was the first of a two-part series for Sampler September, and yesterday's video was all about the antique samplers that I've got and also other samplers that I've stitched. So if you haven't seen that yet then do pop along and have a look at that. That's a FlossTube special edition. I do show you my new antique sampler that I've got, and I will show you her today as well, just to show her really, she's lovely. Right, I'm going to start off with the Flossdrops. I've had some lovely Flossdrops this week. I had 6 more sets, so thank you so much to those of you who sent me Flossdrops. This is the first one. These are in no particular order, and excuse my squeaky chair. This is from the lovely Susan Stanley, who sent me these. I love this photo. I love this photo. I think if you're in the UK, this picture is the one that they sometimes put Mr. Bean's face on. But yeah, I absolutely love that, of this very, very, I don't know, she looks quite stern lady stitching. So these came from Seattle, and Susan included a little bulb pin or gourd pin with a little charm on it which says dream. So I'm just sitting forward in my chair because it's ever so squeaky tonight. And I was watching Susan's new video and she gave a really good tip about sending these through the post, and the idea is that you make them as flat as possible. So it's far better for postage costs to pile sort of 5 up, then another 5, then another 5, or however many it is you're sending, but try and make them as flat as possible and they will go through the post at a better rate. And that's exactly what I found actually when I went to post my mine off on Thursday, I think it was. I actually asked the post lady, well, what would happen? She tried to fit them through the normal letter slot and they didn't quite go, so they're going as a large letter. And I said, well, what would be the postage difference if I got them to go through the other slot? And I think it was something like £1 each going to the States, or £1.50 each pack going to the States. And I'm like, well, I'm sending like 20 packs, so I think I think I'll go home and repackage them. So I have brought a lot of them back home to repackage. The envelope itself is absolutely fine, but I just need to get them lying flatter in the envelope. So thank you for that tip, Susan, and if you found that, then definitely try making them flatter. I also had these ones from Linda Redmond, who is aka Van Mom on Instagram, and she sent me these ones with the little, is it a wren? It looks like a wren. And she also sent me this lovely scissor fob which has a little tassel on it, and it's also got an M on it. So Linda, yours are one of the ones that I've taken home to repackage, and it has got the chart in it as well, so you will be getting those very, very soon. I also received these ones, whoops, these ones from the lovely Rebecca at Hedgerow Stitching, and she also included a couple of things. She included a little crocheted heart keyring finesse, which was on her school bag quicker than you could say anything, and she also sent me this lovely Sajou ribbon, embroidered ribbon, which is gorgeous. I can't wait to add that to a project. And this lovely, I'm squeaking again, this lovely card from the Fitzwilliam Museum. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for those. Michelle from the Striped Rose sent me a set of striped roses, which is fantastic. How amazing is that, to have an image which perfectly suits your FlossTube name. So thanks for those, Michelle. Yours are in the post as well. And then, oh, she sent me a lovely card as well. There we go. And then these are from Jackie. Jackie sent me this lovely card. And Jackie is Secrets of a Stitcher on Instagram. And she's from Dorset, here in England, or over there in England. I'm not in England anymore. So she sent me two types. So these ones, and she also sent through some of these ones, which are fabulous. So thank you for those. And then the lovely Kate, who is katiejonesart on Instagram. That's the card she sent. But she actually sent through 3 different Flossdrops, all of which are paintings that she's painted. So this is the first one. How amazing is that painting? And then some of those. Oops. Some of those. And some of those. And I can't wait to use them. So thank you very much for all those. I'm so pleased that the Great Flossdrop Trade, I should have really named it something I could say, is actually doing so well. So many people have commented to me that they've found new people and that they've been able to sort of communicate with new people through swapping Flossdrops, which is absolutely amazing. Anything that gets stitchers talking and swapping things more is definitely okay in my book. Right, so what have I been doing this week? I've got one new start, 2 whips that I've been working on, something that I really want to get round to. I've dyed some fabric this week. I've got the smallest amount of haul that I've had for ages, and nothing is actually stitchy stuff. It's all kind of stitchy related, but it's not actually stitchy stuff. So I've not brought up any of the charts today, so I'm going to have to put, I'm risking it by sitting in back, I'm going to have to put some pictures up in the corner of the actual charts. So the first one, and I've been loving stitching on this one. This is, let's come this way, hang on, let's try again, there we go, it's a bit better, back there. I feel like an optician. Is it better here? Is it better here? Can you see the green light, the red light? Lights on, lights off? Right, let's try there. So this is Matilda, Isabella, Creasy by Whilst Iris Naps Designs, and I'm stitching this on a piece of 38 count fabric that I dyed myself. Right, I'm going to have to sit really far forward because all you're going to hear is the squeaking of this rotten chair. It's the same chair I normally use. So there she is. I brought the border down a little bit further, put in a couple more flowers, and I've kind of filled in some more of the features that I've got. But to be honest, I've only had a couple of nights working on this because I've allowed myself to be distracted from my goals, which was working on that and the EF sampler. But hey ho, I'll catch up again. So this has been my big distraction. This is Pumpkin Gardener by Mama Witch Cross Stitch, and I think I'm going to blame Finally a Farm Girl Creasy because she has finished hers and we sort of started it together, and we both want to do the freebie that I showed last week, which was the frog. So I've been stitching on this one quite a bit this week, and this is stitched on a piece of 30 count Weeks Dye Works Dolphin, which is actually a bit more green. That's probably not too bad. A bit more green than I can ever get it to show. And when I've been stitching this, I've realised that my pumpkin lady, not sure, is half a stitch off compared to the sort of arc of the border, which is fine because nobody is going to stand there and count and have a look and see. Where did I make the mistake? So I stitched all this, and then I'd started up here. I got half a stitch off on the black row of the sock. So literally about 5 stitches from the bottom. So there was absolutely no way on God's earth I was taking all that out. So I've left it, and all I'll do is I'll just make sure that I make the same mistake below in that row, and it's only got a few stitches in it, and everything I count for the arch, I'll count off the arch rather than the pumpkin gardener in the middle, and nobody will ever know. So yeah, I've loved working on that one. And then my new start was all thanks to a chart from the new edition of Cross-Stitcher magazine. And I believe it's called Midnight Magic, or Magical Midnight. I'll put the name of the proper name of the chart below, and I'll put the picture up here. And I put a photograph of it on my Instagram saying how much I loved it, and so many people jumped on board with it and had seen it as well. So this is my fabric. It's a piece of 32 count even weave, Zweigart even weave. I'm not 100% sure what the actual colour is, but it's a dark blue. It's not quite as dark as it's showing up. It is actually closer to the colour of the picture. Let me see if I can put some white behind it and force the camera to refocus. No, it's not doing it. It is very, very close to the picture that is in the magazine in daylight. It looks a little bit dark here. And I just think it's a fantastic, fantastic design by Emma Congdon. So I've got a little bit of a start on the bottom. The reason that I've started at the bottom, 2 reasons. One, the bottom is a bit straighter than the top, so I don't have to do so much counting. And second of all, it's not going to come all the way up to the top there. But I am thinking about making it into a bag, or some sort of hanging, yeah, I think a bag, some sort of hanging lined bag. Not a bag to take out and about, but a bag that you'd hang up at Halloween and put things in. So that's why I wanted to leave myself a bit more space at the top. So I've not got very far on this one, but a start is a start. It's definitely a start. Okie dokie. Plans and freebie at the same time. I said that sample September sample soiree, and September in general was going to be my month for working on my samplers, and also for starting new puntini every weekend. And I haven't got around to starting my puntini this weekend, but I am going to be starting when I think of autumn. And this one, I've got to show you these because they're gorgeous. This one comes with 2 buttons, a sort of a hazelnut type button and an acorn. And the pins for this one are those. So I have to thank Paola from Puntini because she gifted me these. And I'm going to be starting it on a piece of 32 count. And it is actually Vintage Country Mocha, but I'm going to be using the plain side. So I haven't bothered the iron with this, although I did iron my other things. I don't know if you noticed. Feeling smug. So yeah, I'm going to do Vintage Country Mocha, but on the side that's not the vintage side. Because if you've never had Vintage Country Mocha before, it is printed. It's a printed fabric. So on one side, you have got some variegation and some mottling, and on the other side it's completely plain and you can't see the mottling through it. So it's like 2 pieces of fabric for one. Which brings me to the freebie. the freebie is a Puntini freebie, and Paola is just in the process of getting a website sorted, and you can find this design on her website. So it just says seasons on it, and it's got little motifs from all of the seasons that she's released, and she's released all of them now. So there is a when I think of winter, when I think of spring, when I think of summer, as well as all of the monthly ones. So this would just make a lovely little pillow to sit with my monthly spool and my seasonal pillow. That would just make a nice little thing to sit. Or I have got another idea actually. Just had another idea come into my head. I'll keep it under my hat just in case it doesn't work. So I shall be starting that probably this evening while I'm waiting for this video to write. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am knee-deep in pickled onion season. I'd love to say that I grew the onions myself, or that we grew our onions ourselves, but we've not had very much out of the garden this year. It's been a really poor year for crop, for things coming out. We've had loads of caterpillars, we've not had the right weather, we've had frost at the wrong time. It's just not been good. So I bit the bullet and I went and bought 10 kilos of pickling onions, like you do. And so I've been making pickled onions. Now my recipe for pickled onions, I've had a couple of people ask me what it is. When it comes to the scientific side of my brain, I'm very scientific and very precise. When it comes to the creative side of my brain, I'm definitely in the bucket chemistry, chuck it all in, see what happens, sort of school of thought. So my recipe for pickled onions is vinegar, pickling spices, and then a good dollop of maple syrup. And by mean a good dollop, I'm probably talking about a cupful in half a big, see I can't even do it, in like half a big pan. And I just warm the vinegar, warm the spices, warm the maple syrup all together, and then put my onions in. So I prepare my onions, I blanch them with hot water, peel them, don't throw away the peelings, they'll come in handy, peel them, salt them for 24 hours, rinse them off, dry them, and then they're ready to go in the pickling jars. So by the time I've sterilised the jars, put the pickles in, put the vinegar in, jobs are good. So that's how I do mine. So this time, in fact it came from a comment from a viewer. I think maybe last week I'd said I was making pickled onions, and she said, have you tried using the skins as a dye? And I was like, no, but I will. So what I did when I made this batch of pickled onions is I kept the skins, and you just want the flaky kind of yellow brown outer layer. You don't want any of the actual living tissue of the onion. And I put them in a pan of water. I boiled them up for probably half an hour until I started to see a good colour in the water, and then I turned it off and stuck my fabric in, and this is where we are. Let it sit for half an hour or so, maybe an hour, had a look at it, rinsed it off, let it dry, ironed it, and here we are. So this is the fabric, and actually, let's come over this side, that is not a bad representation of it at all. This is a piece of 35 counts Weigat that was white to start with, and it's got a little bit of mottling. You might be able to see a little bit of mottling, and I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. Now, I didn't use a mordant, which is a chemical that you would treat the fabric with, which might be something as simple as vinegar or alum or salt water. I didn't treat my fabric with anything to start with, and I didn't use anything to fix it because the method that I read said that you don't need to. However, I'm getting into this now. I'm getting interested in the idea of using natural dyes, and so whilst this piece of fabric looks great now, I want to make sure that any fabric that I'm doing in the future is going to stay, that it's going to last the test of time, and it's still going to keep its colour. So I've actually ordered a couple of books about natural dyeing, which are going to come tomorrow. So you can expect a few more experiments in natural dyeing and maybe the odd video. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to run before I can walk. But this was super, super simple to do. And when it came out, I thought, I know what colour that is. And I've got here a piece of Seraphim Bee's Knees. And I'm just going to put the two together because another lady actually commented on my fabric and said, that looks like Seraphim, looks like Bee's Knees. So Bee's Knees I think is probably very slightly lighter for the most part, but it does have some darker parts in it, and the darker parts are definitely the sort of colour of my fabric. So it's really not too far away from Bee's Knees. And I'm only saying that just in case you have got some Bee's Knees or you know what colour it is, and then you can know what to expect from it. So yeah, I think mine is possibly a slightly warmer version of Bee's Knees, but I had such a good time doing it. I really did. So yeah, I've ordered a couple of books and I shall be doing some experiments. I've got more pickled onions to do. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mordant my next piece of fabric, which in this case means I'm going to soak it in some alum, which is really freely available. If it works, I'll give you more details next week. I'm going to soak it in some alum first, and then I'm going to see what happens. I might leave it in for a bit longer. And then of course onions come in different colours, don't they? They come in reds, so I might have to try a red onion one. I have to work out what I'm going to do with loads of red onions. I don't think I want to pickle them, but I'll find something to do with loads of red onions. Maybe a chutney. A chutney, I can feel a chutney coming on. I love making chutney too. Anyway, I'm rambling. Right, let's have a look at my haul. I'm going to start off with my two slightly less interesting pieces of haul, although I still think they're great. I was shopping today and I found a pack of these 4 little tartlet tins. These are by Tala. They were 50% off in the sale, so I thought, yeah, I shall have some of those because I've got a few little charts that go into tart tins. I'm not sure if it's exactly this size, but I'll just adjust my fabric so that it will be this size. These are the 10cm ones. So 4 little black tart tins. And the other thing I bought today, I bought from TK Maxx, which in the UK, sorry, is the UK equivalent of TJ Maxx in the States. I'm sure that wouldn't have taken much working out. And I bought this. Now, I'm going to butcher this because my French isn't brilliant. My French is probably worse than my Welsh. This is called a beurrier, and it's basically just a little cloche for putting butter under, a little sort of individual serving of butter. And I thought it was super cute. And I thought, oh, that would look really nice with like a little pin cushion underneath it, or just something small. So I've just found an old little cotton reel just under a little dome for just a little bit of show, a little bit of interest. But yeah, I also thought, oh, maybe I could make a little tiny tomato and put that under there with some pins in. But it was like £2, so I thought, well, I'm going to give it a whirl. And then my last piece of haul is something I showed yesterday. So if you've already seen her once, I hope you won't mind me showing her again. This is Mary Small. And this is, oh, try not to get too much glare, my most recent sampler purchase. And she really wasn't very much money, but I absolutely love the combination of colours. It just looks Christmassy to me. And even though it's not, August the 19th. Now I never know when they put aged 5 years and then August the 19th, does that mean that they stitched it on finished it on August the 19th, or August the 19th is their birthday? I haven't had enough time to sort of do any more finding out about Mary. She's a Scottish sampler, so I'm going to have to look on Scotland's people for her. She's from East Weems. A lady on my other video did actually give me a heads up that there is a Weems Needlework Society, which is based up in Scotland. From what I've read, it seems to be to do with the family Weems, but it is also in this area of Scotland. So I've dropped them a little message. Weems work is very different to this, but I've approached them just to see whether they've ever heard of her, whether she actually came to their needlework. It was a needlework school, but it didn't start till much later on. So I just messaged them, said, had they ever heard of her? Did she come to their needlework school later on in life? Just a phishing email. What can they tell me, really, if there's anything they know? So I can't wait to stitch her. I am going to stitch her just because I love these reds and these greens together, and I'm hoping to be able to find her quite easily because she's given me lots and lots of family initials. So as soon as I've got a bit of time, I will sit down on the computer and see if I can find Mary A.G. Small, who was 5 when she stitched this. So there we go. And that is where I'm going to love you and leave you today. Only a really short one. I'll be back next week without a doubt, and I'll see you soon. Stay classy, stitchers.